Hey guys, Coach Tony here. Today I'm going to discuss out of 11 personnel how I like to line up against the 3-4 defense. Now, the beauty of the 3-4 is that it's naturally a balanced defense, meaning you drew the line down the middle, they're even on both sides of the ball. So, in my opinion, the first thing I like to do against the 3-4 team when I'm scouting them or even in the game is I want to see what their trips check is. So, I'm going to go unbalanced. I want to go 3-by-1 and see how they react. And I'm drawing this out of 11 personnel. This could also work out of 10 personnel or whatever personnel you have on the field. But I want to see 3-by-1, one removed, and see how they react. And in my opinion, you have two types. You have the 2 high teams or a 1 high, quote unquote, 52 monster type team. Now, I'll start with the 2 high and work my way back to what I'm starting to see in my league. So, first thing you could see is teams that basically play like a 4-2-5. They will blitz the boundary outside linebacker, right? And they'll play probably some form of stress coverage. You're going to see that guy cheat all the way out. Now, if you see my previous video, you're going to know what I'm about to say. I make the basic box count. I got a 2-on-1. This guy is dead. And I have now the interesting thing is 3-4 is not only do I have a 2-on-1, I also have the overhang here that's going to be able, he's normally at a wide 9 tech or a ghost 9. He's going to be able to keep contain out here. But the thing about the 3-4, unlike the four-man front, is they tend to give up the C gap with their ghost 9. And I'll get into that as I flip the formation. But first thing I want to see is their trips check. Chances are, I've seen a team play us stress coverage, in which they're going to double team here and play us 3-on-3 here. And you know what I'm going to say. All you run and shoot guys, you got your little go concept that you should be able to shred them with. All right, your air raid guy, you got your mesh this way. You could have if you're a simple spread team, you could run your double outs or flood concept this way because you have your 3 on their 3. You got to win that matchup in the pass game, in the drop back game. Now in the run game, what I want to run is this is where I want to run all of my speed options, my power reads, my outside zones, because they only have 1 force defender for our 2 slots. We could get a double team there and maybe scoop up. And, there's your toss option or power read going this way. This could be a simple outside zone stretch if that's the world you want to live in. You're going to be able to do safeties at 12 yards. He's worried about giving up the deep post by your number 3. You should be able to take that edge, all right? Now, in the run game, you're an inside zone team. That's where I want my keepers going because we could box out here, get the double up, and, we could read this backside, scoop veer him inside. And, again, I want my keeper to the weaker side because they have the overhang spiking down into the box, all right? Now, this doesn't mean I won't go 2-by-2 on them because I also want to see how they play us 2-by-2. So I'll probably put the tight end into the boundary and put the slot to the field. The reason is I want to see how far that linebacker is going to cheat out because that's a game changer. So, they're a basic 3-4 team. Obviously, they're going to have they have safety on your number 2, corners on your number 1. But I want to see what this field side backer is going to do. If he stays inside the box, all right, that means one of 2 things. Either it's a cover 0 blitz look to this side, or they may be shifting to the 52 monster, which I'll explain later. But they're going to blitz you're forcing them to make a decision because if they want to blitz this field side backer, they just gave up your 2-on-2. Again, this could be a basic stick route, go out. It could be your run and shoot 2-by-2 stuff, air raid stuff. You got your 2-on-2 right here. You got to take that matchup. In the boundary, it's probably they're either playing some kind of quarters or they could also be going cover 0 there as well. And again, that's a film study thing. That's a post snap thing. You got to see what this linebacker's intentions are. Now, by default, sometimes I would flip this to the field to get more field, but by default with this alignment, the interesting thing about, and I'll make another video on the tight end versus the sniffer, but there's nobody in the C gap except for a safety at 10 to 12 yards. So what this opens up is you could easily whether he's in coverage or blitzing. And one year we had a really good running back. We were really good at this. Is, you run your one back power at dart or outside zone of the spot, and there's nothing in that C gap. Even a bad offensive line can split the red C here. So we could box this guy out. If he spikes the B gap, we just turn him in, get the puller in there, or we could zone it. We could attack that C gap. If he spikes out, we attack the next gap inside into the B gap. All right. Now, one issue run into, obviously, you probably want to run your outside stuff here. Again, the beauty of this defense is this guy's normally a ghost 9. He's going to be able to do a better job containing than a hand in the ground D end. All right? So that's how I attack a two-high team. Now, the other option they have is to walk him out. There's your 3-on-2, your dead 3-on-2. And now, chances are, if he's walked out, that means, erase real quick. If you see that linebacker walk out on you, that means that this defensive end has to have the C gap, unless they're just going to outright give up contain like a tight front team. But chances are he's got that C gap. We could hopefully box out there. That opens up your run game to the inside, because now you could even lock that backside or run it, or like Barrow would like to do. You could run your dart or gap scheme the other way. You're back to a 4-2-5 type look. They're double teaming number 1 or playing quarters, or if they're playing double quarters, you got a 6-man box here, or really a 5-man box for some looks. So technically, you could have a 5-man box look here, and that's where you'd be able to hammer in that inside run game. So that's how I attack a 2-high team. Now, what happens when they shift 1-high versus trips? Well, they have two choices. They're either a 52 monster team and they're playing some kind of cover 1, or they're a cover 3 team and that boundary guy might be, or they're a cover 3 team and they're probably not posted. So what do I mean by 52 monster? There's some teams in our league, when you go trips, they're bringing both guys, they're spiking the B gap, and the nose either they're either sending him one way or the other, or they might be 2-gapping him. Now in this case, if you're going to live in a spread world and you're willing to see this front, you have to be willing to take your one-on-ones. Again, go with that weak side flood choice, run and shoot choice look, or whatever, or wide cross if you're an air raid guy. You need to be able to live in this world, or levels, whatever you want to call it, or you need to be able to take your 3-on-2 look here. And you can run a basic flood stick route. All right? So again, they're going to bring 5. May have to go big on big protection and hope they don't blitz one of these two guys. You have to be willing to live in a world where you're going to play street football on the outside. All right? Now, for the run games, some guys, they'll run into the brick wall and they'll try to jam it in there. In my opinion, if you want to run the ball versus this look, you have to be willing to go 2-by-2, because it forces them to do one or two things. Either it forces them to check to too high, as I showed you before, or they may just as well bring the monster safety down over here. And I see this a bit in youth football. This kind of look is they're willing to bring the monster safety to your number 2 every time. And you have your, assuming these guys are all blitzing, you got your 2-on-2 check, or they're a cover 3 team. They may walk, assume that this is not drawn to scale, assuming the field's this way. They may walk him out, and now we're back to that scenario before where this end has to have contain, unless they're just going to openly give up the C gap and let you spill the ball all day. But now let's go back to assuming you want to run the ball against the 52 monster out of 11 personnel. I want to bring this safety over here because now we still have our tight end versus their outside linebacker, even if he's blitzing. And now this opens up the run game, because outside of him, if we could just hold him up, or I don't know if your guy can reach him. I know my guy can't. If we could just hold him up or box him out, this opens up that C gap again, because he's spiking the B gap. Assume we can double back. You could put on a Baylor film. You'll see them run this tons of time. He goes odd front. You can take advantage of that open C gap, and if for whatever reason this spills, we had a running back that could really spill a good one here, and we scored 30 points a game because, God forbid, this thing spilled or the running back was athletic enough to outrun that outside linebacker. There was nothing out here. The corner was getting ran off. This safety was praying to God you don't throw a post over his head, and we were able to take advantage of that. Now, in the passing game, this is what you got to watch out for is they're blitzing him. This safety's over top. There's been times we just either run the tight end on a seam or an out or just anything. We would have a 2-on. Some teams give up that 2-on-1 and expect that linebacker to get out there in time. A lot of times he would not be able to match up. So that's another thing to watch out for. Now, they're a cover 3 team, or some teams will just put they'll put contain here, have that linebacker responsible for him. Again, you got to take that 2-on-2 matchup, or you take this 2-on-2 matchup. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to my rambling. This is how I would attack a 3-4 defense. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and see you guys next time.